A little better.
All right, it's official at 6 o'clock. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Start with adopting our minutes. There are no comments, no changes. I think we did a perfect job once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shannon.
Do what I can. And motion
To approve.
Pam, and second, and all in favor.
Aye.
So moved. The CSC, CAC, there's not much to report on that. Are you taking over the CSC for the village?
I've got my own village report. If you want to let me give it to you now, that's fine.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sure, okay. Well, in terms of climate smart communities, we are in the final stages of wrapping up. Tim and I met yesterday and worked on 3 more pledge elements, so it looks as though by the time we file, which will be in January, that we'll have somewhere between 140 and 150 points.
Nice.
That's good.
So we'll see how much of it gets approved. I mean, this is all new to us, but in any case, we've got that. Shannon and the rest of them, others on the task force have done a wonderful job in reviewing material and going over a lot of the pledge elements that we had to, edit. Of course, Genevieve and myself and Tim did a lot of the descriptions of implementation and putting on, doing research to get what documents we need to verify what we've done. But obviously Shannon and others did a tremendous amount of work to try to help in the process. So I'm very grateful for that. And we should be able to, as I said, file. Next step is to give it to Elizabeth's son at Hudson Valley Regional Council.
Mhm.
She'll do the we found out yesterday, do the priority ones only. She's not doing every pledge element.
Yeah.
Completed approximately 24, if I have my count right, the different pledge elements. So most of those will not be reviewed beyond what we did ourselves, but she'll go through the others. The only thing that we have left to do is next, which I know would be of interest to the town, next week, we have tried to adopt the NRI as a law as opposed to just to adopt it by resolution.
Yep.
So that the precursor of work that had to be done has been done. So next Wednesday, we'll have a public meeting, close the public meeting, and then pass on it being a law. And then Thursday morning, Sarah can write up the papers and certify that it's now, within the code as part of the law. And that's the last I that has to be dotted or T crossed. And then Elizabeth gets it, and then after she brings back any comments, it goes off to the state in January. So that's
Very nice.
That's kind of where we are.
Cool.
Second thing concerning climate smart communities, I received an email from Leslie just before she resigned saying that the town is working on a disaster relief plan with Point Elk Water Extension. And I guess as a supplement to or replacement for our current emergency management plan, which has been in place for like 20+ years.
Yeah.
As an improvement, and part of that proposal calls for potentially having the school as it is now be the emergency center.
Yes.
For for people coming together in order to be able to get shelter and to be able to get out of the fray of whatever the emergency is. We've been requested to see if we can designate the firehouse as a cooling center. But all of those discussions are supposed to be led by Bob Audio, who's taking Leslie's place as the contact person with the village on that. And he hasn't reached out to us in the past 2 or 3 weeks. So I don't know if we're going to address that before the end of the month. So we'll see. But that's that. And final note, this is my last CAC meeting. My great my great thanks and gratitude for all of the wonderful professionals and volunteers I've been able to deal with working through this committee for the past 13 years. And I really,
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you. And will you be replaced by someone soon? Or?
that's a good question. I really don't know. 'Cause,
Yeah.
You know, you've got at least 3 new people joining the board. You've got a mayor who's, Peter Dorr will be the mayor. And right now it's kind of in contention whether or not you're going to have either Julia, which has a clear enough victory that's been declared official,
Mhm.
but the race between Shannon and the associate is still in question. So it's going to go to a hand recount,
Yeah,
and
not you should have known. I knew.
it's going to go to a hand recount, and I think the margin right now that I've been told is somewhere less than 5 votes. So
Yeah,
we'll get word on that. But someone will be declared the winner in the next week or two, and then you'll know who your board is for 2025.
Ah,
And
okay.
then people will be appointed for whatever positions Peter and the board decide,
Right.
and we'll go
Okay.
from there.
All right.
So we'll see.
Well, thank you. You've been most helpful and very, very great. Yep. Sorry we're losing you, but we appreciate all your help you've done. All righty. All right, so, yeah, nothing else. On the town CSC, we've just done number 9, whatever it was. Sorry, I'm so vague with it because Lindsay, our person, has got it, the PE9 emergency preparedness. Sorry, I know I sound vague. We just got the finalized version of what the town will be posting on all social media for that. So we've just been going back and forth with everybody looking at the draft. So that's where we are for the town at the moment. That was one of Leslie's last things that we were trying to get pushed through before her departure. So then we have the planning and ZBA boards update. Howard, do you want to give us that?
Yeah, I got those. I'll run through them quickly.
Thank
You all got the email, I hope.
Yes, we did.
Thank you.
All right, so not much to say. The interesting one is the Colliers. These meetings are long, by the way. If anybody wants to watch the whole meeting, they're on Zoom. The town has them on Zoom, and they're also on town Zoom website. They click Zoom and they show up there. They're also on what should we call it? The other one. All right. So anyway, now the final report from Colliers. Most of the neighbors are pretty, what I can gather, are satisfied with what they're probably going to do, which is some sort of gravel pavement. And they're not going to hard pave it. They're going to sort of put a gravel coating on it of some sort. And it appears to be satisfying the people who were against it originally, that this is going to be the compromise for that. When they show up at the next meeting, those people will find out. And that's the only part that I believe affected us environmentally at all. There was the Hudsonia report, our report, and so on. And the town seems to be moving ahead in this direction, that they're going to listen to the Collier engineers. And if the neighbors don't complain, that's going to be it probably. Okay. So the Hudsonia report is only going to be peripheral. They do have to follow it's a scenic road, so they have to follow some precautions on that. All right, Zoning Board of Appeals. This is an interesting one because we've had this happen at least 3 times before. The most notable one was the IES one itself, which was completely out of compliance with the solar law originally. Mm-hmm. And in each case, they made them correct it. So what's happened here is an attorney showed up for the neighbors saying that what they're putting in there, this installation appears to be visible. And the attorney was, quite good in my opinion in making the case. So I expect something will happen with that. They'll probably have to come into compliance with the visibility section of the zoning of the solar law. Now the planning board, that one is the clear, was the only one on there, the clear application. which if you go to the town website and look up the planning board and go down on the website, you find clear on there. Click on that one. It's got more stuff on there than I've ever seen in any other of the applications.
It's now in a bin. It's gone beyond a folder to a bin.
Oh, yeah, I saw you carry it in. That explains it. Oh,
So
dear.
what appears to be happening is the person that they've hired to do the work, the firm is very good. The one, Mrs. Teal, I believe her name is Van Tool, it is the presenter, and she's very capable. It's difficult to counter some of what's being said because you need an outside professional person to get into the nitty gritty that they're getting into. It's beyond the average. I'm going to speak for myself mainly, but it's beyond the average person's purview to be able to counter some of what's being said. And so what they did this time is they did the seeker review. That was the main purpose of that. Oh, if you watch the whole thing, you'll see some other things going on, such as neighbors who had some complaints and so on. But what happened in the seeker review is Aaron Warner from AKRF had a seeker handbook that he was quoting from. And he went down each of the points in the handbook, and they were either non-existent in that property or de minimis violations. So they didn't think anything needed to be done, and they passed a negative deck at the end on that application. Which afterwards, we had asked, if I recall correctly, when we had did this pan talk about building envelopes and no further building outside these envelopes, and the envelopes were not fully defined. That was last meeting, and they agreed at this meeting to not do that. They just said we're going to have a public hearing next meeting, and then they said if further development subdivision is to occur, we'll look at that later on. So that's a little bit of a change from saying that no further subdivision, as we had recommended, will be occurred after these 5 lots are approved. And they are now going to have a public hearing next month. At that public hearing, they could approve those 5 lots. And then it's up to the owners, if I understood it correctly, to decide if they want to subdivide those lots further. And they would look at the lots and evaluate them at that point, whether it was subdividable or not environmentally and so on. So it's a little bit of a change for that. And
Did attend that. I watched that video, and it did seem like they were really refocusing everybody on the seeker declaration, and several of the planning board members asked about things that we brought up in the CAC letter, asked about disturbance envelopes and limiting future subdivisions. And my understanding was that Aaron shut that down because it wasn't part of the seeker review. And that was all last night what was about, and that will be part of the next planning board discussion.
And so, you know, we could attend that in person and make our points in person.
okay. Did you also hear them? Maybe it was just me. Did you also hear them saying that at that point it was up to the owner of those lots who may want to push further with more subdivisions, and they would look at it then?
So
which is a little bit what they said the time before.
that's
Did you
what
hear that?
the lawyer was suggesting for the person who presented for the applicant. But what the planning board and Aaron said seemed different. It seemed to be that they were going to reconsider that and consider the idea that there may be limitations on the subdivision. It just wasn't part of last night's meeting.
Because they said it was only going to be the seeker.
Yeah, they just kept regrouping people back to the seeker, which was it's a pretty limited and specific list of questions.
Yeah, no, I think if that's all that happened at the meeting, then we would be in a position to attend the public hearing in person and make the CAC points in person, which is something,
Mhm.
you know, I would block out in my calendar to do.
And it looks like, I mean, my understanding was that that would happen next meeting.
Right.
That's at least what was said. That's something that we'll consider in the next step. The only thing,
Yeah, looked like they left it open. They could now have more subdivisions, depending on what they were looking at. But these are 20, some of these lots are 20 acres, and this is 5 acre zone.
That's right. So that's the idea of putting easements on the property that would restrict future development despite it being in a 5 acre zone.
yeah. Yeah, and the other thing that came up was the idea of, not the idea, and I think Howard may have mentioned it somewhere, is it a building envelope or a disturbance envelope? It needs to be a disturbance envelope. So that it's not that that's just where a building goes and then you can disturb all of the other area.
Right.
And again, they said that that was currently within the realm of how you might interpret the way it's presented and would be considered.
Yeah, that would be more development of the land, which if you read, I think it was Susan Mancuso's report that she put in quite a while back. A lot of that land is wetland type, poor soils and so on, which is nice for the environment perhaps, but it's not so nice for building. And that's all part of the building envelope, I suppose. So that, at least in my mind, and you guys might be seeing it differently, at least in my mind, that issue was not settled yet. That's still to be sort of like revisited. But there's like a 10% building envelope in the code that you can have 10% building envelope. It's spelled out in the code as 10% of the property. So if you have 20 acres, you could have a 2 acre building envelope. You have 5 acres, you have a half acre building lots. It's in the code, but the ZBA could get involved and so on. My concern is that's a pretty nice environmental area, which brings up the next topic that I want to discuss with you guys. They talked about, we come back to this, of course, but before I forget, they talked about a site visit before the next planning board meeting. The CAC, of course, would be able to go to that site visit and see some of that property too. Any members who wanted to go would probably be allowed to go. So that's something you might want to consider.
The information, you know, we can organize our calendars.
It sounds like the planning board is going to also do a site visit.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other
Normally
thing
in the past, we've gone along with the planning board on these site visits.
seems fair.
So
Yeah, I'll reach out to Susan and tell her that we're interested.
No.
Howard, there was one, several people brought up concerns with water and referred to the idea that the site's part of the aquifer recharge zone, which it is.
Yeah.
And Aaron said that it wasn't. And so there may be an issue in the seeker, it was hard to hear, maybe an issue in the seeker if they answered, no, it's not part of the aquifer recharge zone.
And it is.
And our map actually shows that it is, it's not level 1.
Right.
So I don't know what the
level 3,
level,
I think
it might be even level 2.
tertiary. It was a tertiary.
Yeah, so that's I was going to bring that up with Adelaide's email to us. And
Mhm.
sorry, she copied us. She emailed Susan to question it. And again, saying the same thing that the NRI maps, that it's the applicant said that there was no area of the property identified as aquifer recharge. But we say there is, and our maps say there is. So yeah, so that's, I did want to bring that up as well. So thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, I would recommend if you have the time, you want to go through this again. I thought Adelaide made a pretty good case for the environment in her report and it's online. And it touches on all those topics and might be worthwhile if you don't want to watch the whole thing to take a look at that one at least. I don't know I didn't make a note where it is, but it's not that hard to find because she spoke for a few minutes, so you'll see her and you can zoom in on it.
Yep.
I think that's about all. Building envelopes that I've got in my notes that I gave you folks. Planning board meeting was discussed. CAC should be part of the site visit.
Thank you, Howard. So
Thank you, Howard.
I would plan to attend the town board meeting on not on Saturday, but on Thursday, because the town attorney will be there. And it will be an opportunity for me to talk to him about the status of the code update.
Yes.
So
It hurts my head.
I've gone through a lot of the proposed draft, and in general, it truly is reformatting. And so far, I've been only able to identify one place where the reformatting has got an impact, and maybe you've
I've seen things. I've seen tons of things that I can't understand. I can't print the new version out yet, but I go through it and I can't. Actually, I found a mistake today. I was really proud of myself on one of the appendixes. So I was like, because they don't have.
So my version doesn't even have any appendices.
No, you have to get them separate, offered online.
Okay.
So like on appendix A,
Mhm.
this is the old code location to find
Right.
this.
Mhm.
And, I've noted it on one of them where it's at, so I will let whoever it is that needs to know that. But that was what happened even in the last code, just finding things and not matching up. Well, okay, you have to go here to find it. Well, that's the wrong information. So there's a lot of that still. And like I said, I just accidentally found that today.
Okay, so we will need to compare notes because I haven't been finding a lot of those things.
Oh, yeah, well, I've got several versions of our code.
Okay.
So I know the old code so well that when I've gone into this new code, I can't understand a lot of it because it's like nothing seems to jive. So that's why I'm like kind of mental at this stage.
Okay,
So I will be doing some more comparing.
all right. Do you have any word on where the project stands? You know, if they've got,
No, did you email the attorney?
I emailed the attorney and
He's not said anything back.
He's not said anything back.
No response. So yeah, I was thinking of emailing him as well. See if we can get a response.
Okay,
So thank you.
so, I mean, I don't know what else to do except to go to the town board meeting where he has to be there.
Yeah, we'll go there and I'll try to get there as well
Okay.
Thursday. All right. So that's another mission.
Mhm.
All right. And then also on the lines of our zoning code, we have some concerns in Mabbittsville, our favorite place for zoning concerns.
So the focus is on things that you can visibly see, that, the average person
Can understand.
can understand and see driving up and down. The trucks is definitely something.
Yeah.
And the others, I just don't know what to say about. Is it,
I don't know how to address it. It's something that always happens in Mabbittsville for some reason. They just kind of like let things slide until it gets so bad that it drives everyone crazy, which is apparently, has happened with the trucks. And it's just more than one person has commented on it. And as we were trying to locate the information on the other property, across from the
Gulf Station.
At the Gulf Station. We're still waiting to hear back on that.
so in the interest of time, should we just write the letter about the trucks and then say we are also looking at other, like, just put a marker down and say we're looking at other issues?
This isn't the only issue, but yeah, I think that might be the easiest way to address it.
Say that we are looking at other issues in,
Concerns or issues in Abbotsville.
and can we say based on resident concerns?
Yeah, I guess that'd be the easiest way to put it.
Because this isn't something that we're, like going out, things have been brought to our attention. And the
Yes.
trucks are something that I noticed as a resident driving back and forth. So that's something that I identified, and the others,
And the others are the residents of the areas there.
residents of the areas. So I will revise, and so who is this letter going to? It's the town board.
So Gary Safiri, the town board,
Um,
and the copying Jonathan.
Jonathan, the building inspector.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the one where the health center is going in now? The guy that just bought the building?
No,
No.
this is the Hammond vet
No.
Oh, the
site.
Hammond one. Okay, the veterinary.
So someone bought the, oh, no, sorry, I know what you're talking about. No, that's all set. Sorry, you're talking about the training. I thought you were talking about another.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, that building, which would
That
fell
one's,
under the
Yeah,
old
that-
code.
yeah, that one's fine. That one has been, is in the process of being done.
So that's not where the trucks are? They're on the
No.
Hammond building, veterinary building?
No, have a drive through Mabbittsville sometime, see if you can find the trucks.
Well, I do. I go up to an acupuncturist up there, and I noticed a lot of trucks.
Going
In there.
far enough. Go farther.
Well,
You
I'm
gotta-
not the one that brought this up. I noticed some trucks were,
No.
large trucks were parked up in that area. I didn't pay that much attention.
But they're working there. That's being redone and getting paved.
That's what I figured. It was the construction on that building.
Go further up Mabbittsville to the gas station and tell me if you see any trucks that direction.
Well, why should I tell you? Are there trucks there or not?
All right, so that's enough for that
Yeah.
information, right? To get that going.
So I'll finalize that.
Right, well, thank you.
And so I'll get you the final copy, and then you will forward it to the,
Yeah, so that they can have it for the meeting.
the applicant.
Yeah. That'd be perfect.
Okay.
In draft form, since we can't approve it yet, which is fine. All right, and that's,
Except we can't approve it, right?
can we approve it? We can approve it right now.
Yeah, we can approve it right now.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve our letter that we're gonna send in?
Motion to approve.
Second, yep, all in favor? Aye,
Aye.
we're done.
Aye.
How- Don't count you on anything since you're online.
That's all right. I
did
can
read
participate. I just can't be quorum.
I heard him second.
Yeah. All right, so then I have my year recap, which is not much to say, besides that I think steadily continued on this in the same form as the year before, accomplished basically the same things as we did last year. And I think we'll just be moving forward fairly steadily now, even though we're lost our liaison for the moment, but we will be appointed another one on Thursday. And we'll see which one we get, which will be lovely. We did lose David as a member this year, so it's a little sad
Very
to
sad.
see him go, but he, as we discovered, was in the CAC from the beginning. So it's an amazing job that he did for us, and hoping to get that commemorated through our town in some form. I have spoken with Gary about it, and I'd just like to follow up and just get something
Maybe
done.
a plaque next to Mary Alex? Do we ask for that?
I did say that to Gary, so I'll bring it up again and see if we can get that done. That would be
'Cause that's
awesome.
an amazing record. That's like 1989 or something like that.
Yeah,
when they
88.
bought
I think it's 88.
88, yeah.
I think it was. So yes, it is an amazing record, and he did so much for our town. So I will follow up on that as well. All right, that's it. Any comments? Any questions?
Yes, I have something still. What, if anything, are we going, do you know the reason why that beaver dam was destroyed? Was there a reason for it?
Yeah, so we're still trying to find out. Jonathan and I, we've contacted the DEC. She did have a permit from the DEC to do something, but we don't know what because we're asking for a copy of the permit. She still does not have any permits from the town. It doesn't matter if she has it from the DEC or not. She still hasn't got anything from the town
Yeah,
to do anything. So that's where we are. The last news that I heard was beavers are back and building their dam again. So that's the only consolation. There were other parts of the story that I'm not direct knowledge of, so I can't repeat it, but it was all very unfortunate stuff for neighbors. She's overstepped her boundaries on several things.
that's what I thought. I thought this happened before.
Yeah, but there's other things that she's done now that are more against the law than what she's done, which is hard to imagine, right? Like,
Well, there is such a thing as nuisance beavers in the code. There's a code someplace, and there is the term nuisance beaver. But there's specific ways to go about that, and specific times of the year only, and so on. And on the other side of the coin, beavers are very important to the environment where they are, for the natural environment.
Right.
So I personally just worry about somebody, if that's the case, who just destroys a beaver dam because they don't like it. On the other hand, if it's a danger for something, there was a couple of other cases where way back where people's houses were being flooded.
Right.
By beavers, So I don't know. You know more about it than I do, so I'm sure you'll follow up.
She has one specific reason why she destroys the dam, and it has nothing to do with damage to her property. And that's where the problem is. She's not come to the town and said that there's a problem. She's just making this excuse up for another reason. And it's an illegal reason.
Well, then she should be fined. There's fines for that stuff.
Is it fair to put, so Town of Washington is investigating this?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay,
Yes.
that's
good to
I
know.
think that we could recommend. That's where I think it becomes an enforcement problem. We don't enforce.
Thanks for bringing it up. I forgot to mention it as well. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, to my knowledge, was the same thing happened a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Created quite a hubbub, and there was DEC
Mhm.
representation on the property to look at the dam.
Yeah.
And to qualify what you could do and couldn't do. So there should be some consequences if she's overstepped, because the DEC has been involved in the past.
Right. And she had a permit for it the last time as well. So she does have a certain permit, but we don't know what the wording is. And the permit I had seen the previous time, which I don't think it might have been the last one, I don't know. There's wording in it that stipulates you still have to have local permits. You can't just do this. So, which is, what we're trying to find out as well. But we all know, because we have our own wetlands law, that we have, she has to apply with us to do anything with it. But she's ignoring that fact. So. All right. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Mike, again for your long service with us and your retirement on it now.
Yeah. Well, it's all coming rather fast, because it's 13 years with the village and with this, but it's as Howard knows, and I'm gonna miss all you guys, but I think Howard and David especially, because I had both of them sitting by my side for 13 years, and so there's a long history there.
Yeah.
But it's time for good people like yourself to take over and continue the advocacy, to put it that way.
Thank you. Hopefully we can stand up to that challenge. All right, shall I get a motion?
Motion to close.
And second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.